Glam Layers. The whole idea with this is to create a beautiful soft perimeter. So we can create a layered shape from creating an outline shape and layering into the outline, or we can create an effect where we're layering from the inside, creating our outline shape. So this hairstyle is perimeter. Again, work to the face shape and make sure you keep it balanced, and then we work into our interior. Again, map out this hairstyle, determine where is your longest part going to be, where is your perimeter. Lift that length up, and from there you can determine how much hair you want to take out of the interior part of this hairstyle. So always look at your focal points, and you can always do a little snip here as a guideline and then let it fall down and read the hair and go, okay, I like where that is living, or you do it a little bit longer. So make sure, map out the hairstyle before you pick up your tools. Let's explore the architecture of this hairstyle. We start off with our center parting and we section around the perimeter of their face. We then determine how is the hair going to fall so that we can choreograph our fringe into our soft framing. We have two different ways we can work with our framing. We can do a nice arc like this, and we can over-direct the hair forwards into this arc and create that lovely softness. Or we can do more of a square shape, square across and then a steeper curve connecting from fringe to the perimeter. So the big question is, how much do we want to open and close the face? Study the face shape before you even pick up your comb, your brushes, and your scissors. Determine if you open the face, do you create more beauty and do you create the oval? If you close the face, do you create more beauty? Use your hands to vogue around the face and make sure that you are very exact about the focal points you're going to be working towards. Let's now go into the haircut. So once we've determined the length, we allow for the spring and the jump in the hair, and we also determine how much we want to go inside the fringe to create more softness and wisps, and then we start to glide down the hair, working towards our perimeter length. We repeat on the second side. Again, consistency, rhythm, determining how much we're going in and out, and how we glide down the hair shaft. And then we create our beautiful arc. So let's recap here. The depth of how you go in and out, up and down that hair shaft, taking away that weight before you remove the length is very important. You obviously have to understand growth patterns and hairline and the density of the hair as you go in and out to determine how soft and light do you want your fringe to be. Once you have that softness and you allow the hair to live where it's going to naturally live, then and only then do you want to go into this framing. And again, are you going to be on the perimeter, or are you going to go deeper into the hair to create the valleys and the peaks? And everything you do in razor work has a rhythm. So you want to make sure you're very consistent in your rhythm as you glide through the hair to create this beautiful facial framing. We then repeat by over-directing the second section onto the first section. But here we have to be mindful. Just imagine if I took the section close to the parting into the fringe, but in actual fact it falls into the side. We would have very short hair in an area that ought to be longer. So fan the hair out so that you make sure that the hair is gently falling where it will naturally fall. So you're not cutting a fringe area too long, and you're not cutting the side area into the fringe and making it too short. Does that make sense? Oh gosh, I hope so. I only know this because of the mistakes that I've made, and I so much want to protect you from my mistakes and blunders. So when we look from the side, you can see the gentle pivoting of the hair falling forward and into the side. And as we start to move backwards, gliding through to the ear section, and we're taking the hair forward, creating that softness. Now here you can determine, where do you stop? How deep is your parting and how deep is the fringe? Again, face shape, the 3 wheels of fashion, the density of hair will determine that decision. Let's talk about the back. The back length must obviously balance with the front, and that again is based on the density of the hair. You can see in this sectioning, I am leaving out the density I would like to see on my framing. So again, we're going to work in with our L technique. We're gliding up the hair and scooping out. We're layering and then we're going through. So notice this again, we layer and then we create the outline shape. We are layering and we're creating the outline shape. And we take away the amount of weight that we wish to take away in order to create the softness and the movement that we're looking for. So again, you can see the rhythm is very, very important as we glide through. Let's talk about our layering. We have created our perimeter shape. Now we're determining how is this hair going to fall? What is the length at the crown? And how do we connect to the perimeter? How deep is the perimeter that we have left out? So here you can see I've made this decision, and as this hair falls down, you can see I have very long layers going through here. Let's look at that one more time. I must be aware of how is that hair going to fall. So a suggestion, when you are determining this, you could cut a tiny piece of hair at the crown, just a tiny piece. Let that fall. Look at the movement and the lift in the hair and determine, is that going to work? Do you like the bounce, the spring? And therefore, then you can map out your hairstyle. I do that quite often, and those focal points really help me, and I certainly don't get lost when I do that. Here we see the hair falling at the side, laying over the perimeter shape. So we have layered to our perimeter outline. Let's look at it from the front. As this hair cascades down, we have an evenness and we have these lovely, lovely layers fitting into our beautiful facial framing. The aerial view. Square behind the shoulders to protect the area around the ear so we don't cut the hair too short. The hair around the face was over directed forwards to create that lovely arc. We over direct all the sections we can into that line based on the volume we wish to have around the perimeter of the hairstyle. And then when we look at how it would fall naturally, we have the curve around the face. We preserve the length at the ear. We preserve the length behind the ear. When we take the hair backwards, any hair that can reach that line, we cut. And what that gives us is a lovely roundness. So I hope this has made sense to you. Now let's get into the demonstration working with my beautiful model. Are you passionate about hair and ready to take your styling career to the next level? If so, don't skip this video. Instead, click the link to find out how you can join thousands of hairdressers who've improved their skills, gained confidence, and increased their earnings by as much as 60 to 70% in just a few short months. Amazing, right? What are you waiting for? Click the link and I will see you on the inside. So here you can see my model has gorgeous, very, very thick hair, and we're going to do quite a big transformation on her. Believe it or not, the hardest thing to convince her to wear was the fringe. But I felt that with her hairline being so weak, if you look at the shape of the hairline, very narrow forehead and much wider in the jaw, I felt the fringe would cover that area. And you can see she has more of a diamond face shape with that narrow pitch around the temples and very narrow in the forehead. So all of a sudden with the longer hair, her whole face is so much more balanced and her hair looks so much thicker in the right sort of way. So I feel, even though it was very difficult to talk her into the fringe, it was the best thing going. And she did slightly freak out. You'll see in her eyes a few moments where she's going, oh my gosh, what just happened? And you can see testing the hair, how is it falling, and making sure that that's really right before I move on. So take your time to evaluate the movement in the hair and the balance for the face shape, and look at the difference between the irregular, sort of untidy hairline that's not worth showing off versus the wonderful fringe. So when you have a 5-star consultation and you can communicate the power of creating a beautiful design to the face shape, and you can articulate it correctly to the client, you're going to build confidence and trust, and you're going to be able to do the right thing. And I think that's what it's all about. So if you need a refresher on who is sitting in your chair, studying face shape, studying your consultation, the 3 wheels of fashion, it will help you in your consultation. And here she's like looking at me, because she can't see herself in the mirror, she's looking at my response. And my eyes are giving her the confidence. So if there is doubt or fear in my eyes and the client sees that, I'm in trouble. And I was like, yeah, this is amazing, encouraging her because she's nervous. And I understand that and I respect that. So I think that's a huge thing. You can see the pivoting of the sectioning here, the hair that's going forwards, the hair that's draping down as we slowly glide around in order to create this lovely effect of the facial framing. Take your time here. I find this to be much easier to do with the razor than the scissors because of this steep line and this lovely softness that we're achieving. So the attention to detail, yep, you got it. It's important. The second side, focal points, light and soft, an irregular fringe, and be very aware, where am I dropping to? Am I opening to the corner of the eye? Am I opening to the cheekbone? Where am I dropping to? So here we have the left side, because I'm a right-handed person, the left side I'm pointing up, the right side I'm pointing down. Get out your razor and just feel how that would be for you. And again, we're gliding around the face and we're mindful to take the fringe area and cut that where it's going to fall. The perimeter, where is it going to fall? And here you can see I'm checking for my balance and my proportion. The other thing, being too close to your work, you're never going to be able to see the balance. An arm's distance away is imperative. You've heard me say it quite a few times, but take your time to make sure that these lengths are absolutely right, standing right in front of her and making sure that the length is gorgeous. And again, she's looking at me, looking for some assurance. Is this working? She's looking, am I keeping the hair to the length that I promised? Because she's very worried. She's a professional model. We have a language barrier. I'm actually overseas doing this hairstyle and this gorgeous model in the Dominican Republic. So therefore, I want to be sure that she sees in my body language that I'm confident and I'm doing the right thing for her. I have her best interests at heart. So as I'm going through here, creating this lovely softness, again, my valleys and peaks, creating this gorgeous texture. So you can see that in this razoring method, I'm going in and out, creating that lovely softness, in and out, the layer, 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 outline shape, layer, layer, outline shape, layer, layer, outline shape. You can also see the importance of how I'm holding my razor. So this even and rhythmical way of working, holding the razor the way that I am, is all part of the success in going through this hairstyle and creating a perimeter that works the first time. No fiddling, no fussing, get it right the first time. You can do it, I promise you. So here I'm going in and I'm layering into this, and I'm doing the L technique even here. So you can see how useful this technique is. I want to create length but lightness because my model has very thick hair. So the front part coming into the fringe, but I'm already now starting to pivot around from my fringe and now create that facial framing, getting longer as I go through. Now with a gorgeous model like this, convertibility is important. as a professional model, she needs to be able to wear her hair in many different ways. And the beauty of this hairstyle is that she can. As I work on my second side focal point. Now, I actually did not say a word during this haircut, especially around the face, because I was so focused. So when you're working with somebody, I recommend saying, I'm going to be talking to the hair. I'm not going to be talking to you. I'm going to be talking to your hair. I need to concentrate. I need to be quiet, and I need to really get this right. Once I've got this right, then we can have a lovely chat. We can chat during the blow dry, or we can chat when I have mastered and created the look that I want. So focus. Remember, you can only focus on one thing at a time. So get this right. Now you can see here very long dramatic strokes because my model has such thick hair. So you can see length is retained, lightness is released. Play with the hair to make sure that I like how this is sitting. And you can see the fringe is starting to jump up, which I'm allowing for. There's nothing worse than it jumping up and you weren't planning on it jumping that high. How many of you have had that experience? Oh yeah, we've all had that experience. So you can see here that this is a pivoting effect, and my animation shows it very well, and I hope that helps you. This is where one needs to be very, very tall. I am now taking from the crown area and I'm layering into my back. So when I'm layering, I am layering the interior of the hair. You can see I'm going upwards. When I'm doing the facial framing, my razor is pointing downwards for perimeter cutting. Why don't you practice that right now? Holding your razor up towards the ceiling, shaking the hand, and then holding the razor down to do your perimeter. Mime along with me and it will really help. So you can see this is a favorite technique of mine. Create the perimeter that I enjoy and then layer into that perimeter so that I have that control. And you can see I took my length from the crown, pivoting around into the outline length I already cut. So now you're going to see that outline length. There it is. It fell away. And now I connect into it. Nice, isn't it? Do you like that? Good. I'm glad you do. I can feel you nodding right now. So nice and soft as we go through. And just playing with the hair again. So I'm keeping the hair behind the shoulders, retaining that squareness. It's always better to have more of a corner that you can round off at the end than to not have the corner and possibly have a hole. Not a good idea. Take small enough sections that you can see your guideline, don't guess. And again, you can see nice and soft. I find this a lot easier to do with the razor than the scissors, by the way. And what a transformation. A huge transformation. Even the colour looks better. So variations on this with the razor. You can see that the rock and roll version is much more layered into the perimeter, much more shattered than what I'm doing, just so you have that as a reference. So when we go on our second side, you can see on my left side, my fingers are pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, follow along with me, and even if you're miming right now, that would be really great. And you can see we're working around, creating that beautiful effect from our layers right the way into our perimeter. Again, playing with the hair to make sure that the balance is beautiful. This is very good exercise for your arms. It saves doing push-ups. Very good exercise. So here again, clean sections. Notice my comb and my fingers run parallel to each other. I work from my outline there. Well, I work into my outline, I should say, to create that lovely softness. So let's remind ourselves, when we're facial framing, our razor is pointing down. When we're layering, our razor is pointing up and we're shaking the hand. And you can see with this razor that I love to work with, it really improved my game. How I hold is so important. And look, now she's starting to feel happier. And I have a sigh of relief. So you can see not only the hand position here, but the pivoting of how I move around. And here you can see again how I hold the razor and how I pivot around. The blow dry was a stretch and twist. and we created this nice irregular effect with a nice curve of the fringe and just a beautiful look, which I hope you enjoyed. Did you enjoy working on this hairstyle? What did you learn? Very keen to know. Put your comments down below so that we can learn from you as well. As you can see, it's about the finish of this hairstyle as well. Whether you want to put some volume in there, play around with some back combing techniques in your blow drying, use your irons, be creative, and remember, reference your 3 wheels of fashion. How quiet or loud is your finish? How sensual is your look? And where does she live in fashion? So you can see a great versatile hairstyle. We look forward to seeing your version in our members gallery.